Section 8.1, example 6, graphing an ellipse centered at HK by first writing it in standard form. Graph the ellipse given by the equation below. Identify and label the center, vertices, covertices, and foci. 4x squared, 9x, or 9y squared minus 40x plus 36y plus 100. Okay, so from here, we are not anywhere near standard form. What we're going to have to do is complete the square for each variable. So let's grab all of everything that doesn't have a variable attached to it and move it over to the opposite side. So moving that 100 over, that's going to leave us with 4x squared. Next, in the same step, I'm going to start grouping things together. So I'm going to group the x's together and group the y's together. So x, or 40x squared minus, or 4x squared minus 40x. I'm going to leave a little space. And we're adding 9y squared plus 36y. And on the opposite side, we have negative 100. Okay, so now from here, I'm going to group the x's together. I'm going to group the y's together. And what we're going to do is complete the square for each of these individually. So let's start with the x's. So before we start that, we need a coefficient of 1 in the front. So let's do that to both of these. So factoring out of 4. That's going to leave us with x squared minus 10x, leave a little space. Factor out a 9, that leaves us with y squared plus 4y, leave a little space, equals negative 100. And now we complete the square. So half of b squared, half of negative 10 squared. So negative 10, divide that by 2 and square it. That's going to be negative 5 squared, which is 25. So in here, we add 25. What we do to one side, we also do to the other. So over here, we're also adding 25. Ooh, but notice that this 25, when we added it inside of this, it was being multiplied by that 4. So since this 25 is being multiplied by that 4, we also need to make sure that this 25 is being multiplied by a 4. There we go there. And just to keep it nice, let's color this exact same thing. All right, much better. Now we're going to do the same thing over here. Half of b squared. So in this case, b is 4. Half of 4 squared. So 4 divided by 2 squared. It's going to be 2 squared, which is 4. So since we have that equal sign, we're going to add 4 in here. We're also going to add 4 over here. But similarly to this 4, or I'm sorry, this 25 being multiplied by that 4, this 4 is being multiplied by 9. So in order to keep everything exactly the same, we also have to multiply this one by 9. All right, so now let's rewrite everything. We just force this to be a perfect square, and we just force this to be a perfect square. So let's rewrite it in the proper form. So 4, and this here ends up being x minus 5 squared. Looking at this part, we still have that 9 on the outside, so plus 9. In here, we have y plus 2 squared. And this is all equal to, we have negative 100 plus 100 plus 36. So those two subtract out. 4x minus 5 squared plus 9y plus 2 squared equals 36. And lastly, what we really need is for this last one to be equal to 1. Let's divide both sides by 36. And if not, there's just a little bit more math that we have to do. So 4 divides out with 36 9 times. So here we have x minus 5 squared divided by 9. Plus 9 divides out with 36 4 times. We have y plus 2 squared over 4. And the best one, 36 divides out with 36 1 time. So we're just left with 1. So now from that really ugly equation that we started off with, we now have it in our standard form. So we can now find the center, the vertices, the co-vertices, and also the foci. So starting off with the center. And then the vertices, co-vertices, and the foci. Okay, center comes from HK, so opposite of -5 and opposite of +2. That's going to be 5, -2. Vertices come off of our major axis. Major axis is this one. All right, so I think this will be good. All right, so center at 5, -2. So we have 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, -1 and 2. Vertices coming off of our major axis, 9, 4. So it looks like this is our major axis. So we're going 3 units in the x direction. So 1, 2, 3, we have this. 1, 2, 3, we have this. So center at 5, -2, vertices at 2, 2, -2, and at 8, -2. So 2, -2, 8, -2. Co-vertices are coming off of our y-axis. So √4, which is 2. So 2 units. 1, 2. And down 1, 2. So here it's going to be 5, 0, 5, -4. So same thing here. 5, -4, 5, 0. And from here we could start graphing this, or drawing the actual graph. Foci, we have to figure out what C is in order to do that. So C is equal to the square root of A squared minus B squared. The larger minus the smaller, so 9 minus 5. That's √5. And let's see what √5 is. Oh, we already have it. √5 is 2.25-ish. So from the center, we're going out 1, 2, 2.5 is about here. 1, 2, 2.25 is about here. So from here, x ends up being 5 minus √5, -2. And over here, we're adding it. So 5 plus √5, -2. So here, 5 minus root 5, -2, 5 plus root 5, -2. And there you go. So here, it's not just a little bit of the work. It's not just this. It's not just this. It's a combination of everything from here all the way down to here, solving all of that work. There we go. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, bye.